We're starting the week on Sunday with a bit of meal prep. I decided to make a frittata with lots of vegetables for a high protein breakfast and snack that I can have during the week. You can use whatever veg you have and like, but I chopped a couple of peppers and added them to my bowl. For some extra flavor, I used some sun-dried tomatoes, so I grabbed a few and chopped them in small pieces. I then added them to the same bowl. I also chopped some onion and added it with the rest of the veg. And as you probably know by now, I'm so bad at chopping finely, so I just used my food chopper. For herbs, I used some basil, but again, you can use whatever you like. I then found some mushrooms in my fridge, so I decided to add them in too. I love using the big mushrooms as they're so much faster to chop. Now the vegetables are ready, it's time to crack the eggs. I think I used around 10 eggs and also added some egg whites to bulk it up and also add more protein. I whisked them up and seasoned with salt and pepper. I gave the vegetables a good mix and then added the egg mixture and stirred everything around. And it wouldn't be a kiki recipe if I didn't add loads of feta, so I crumbled about a block into the mixture. And to be honest, I think you could have done with 2 blocks, but I love feta and always want way too much, so you can adjust this based on your preferences. I then baked it at 200 degrees Celsius until the egg was fully cooked. Good morning everyone, it's Monday. So I've set some goals for this week. The first one is exercise for 30 minutes every day. It might sound a lot, it might sound too little to some people, but just trying to get back into the exercise routine. To me 30 minutes every day seems enjoyable and seems achievable. So yeah, today I did a Les Mills workout. I started doing this new series of workouts called Tone and I really like them. If you've never tried them, I'll see if they have a free one on YouTube because they usually have a free one of every single one, but I'll link something down below that's similar. They're so cool because it's a mixture of cardio and strength and they're just so much fun. And as always with Les Mills workout, the music is amazing. I always forget how much cardio there is in them. Always in my head it's like, oh, it's mostly strength training, but it's not. It's a lot of burpees and things like that, which is good because I'm trying to get my cardio fitness back up. So that's my first goal. The second goal is 10,000 steps a day. And goal number 3 is to eat healthy. I love eating healthy, but I also love treats, as you know. And yeah, just stick on my plan. I am following Slimming World. I'm not very strict and I'm not getting obsessive over it, which is probably why I'm not seeing results as quickly, but I want to get back on it. It's also my first week that I'm doing 1 day at the office and it's my 80th as well, so I probably will make something and take to the office. Let me know if you're starting your week, what are your goals that you've set to be healthier and fitter and feel your best. These are my 3. For breakfast, I'm gonna have some grapes, and then yesterday I made this frittata cake thing, so I'm gonna have a slice of that. And most exciting thing, if you like tea and biscuits, who doesn't like that, you need to buy this thing. It is Yorkshire tea malted biscuit brew. Tastes like tea and biscuits. I can confirm it tastes like tea and biscuits. It's amazing. I wish they made it decaf because I would have it all day long. So I'm gonna have a breakfast and then a cup of these. Taste and smells amazing. Try, trust. Okay, let's make some breakfast. So good. Okay, that breakfast did nothing. I'm still hungry, so I'm gonna make a pita with baby bell and a bit of mayo and tomato. I grabbed the pita from my freezer and I always keep them in the freezer as they stay fresh for longer. While it was toasting, I chopped a few baby tomatoes. I also grabbed a couple of this baby bell cheese and sliced them up. I used about a tablespoon of light mayonnaise and spread it around before adding some rocket, my cheese and the tomatoes. This is such a quick breakfast or a snack. It's my go-to when I want something yummy and fast. So I think that breakfast, the frittata, was lacking in carbs, probably calories. It was a small portion. Learn from my mistake. It's always good. I love baby milk. It's so yummy. For lunch, I made some chicken and rice, so I started by boiling my rice in some salted water. I also had some meal prep chicken, which was just baked in the oven with some Cajun spices, so I warmed it up in a pan while the rice was cooking. I served my rice and then added some rocket for some greens. I dressed with olive oil and vinegar and seasoned with salt. Lastly, I added my chicken and lunch was ready. And I had some Coca-Cola in the house, and when it's in the house, I honestly can't resist it. And I know it's not the healthiest, but I just love it. Basically, I just need to not buy it so I don't have it, but yeah, I enjoyed it on this day with my lunch. After lunch, I had my usual biscuit treat and another cup of this yummy biscuit tea. I'm honestly obsessed. I also had an apple as a snack later on. And for dinner, I didn't have a plan, so I just started making a salad. I added some rocket to my favorite bowl and then chopped a few tomatoes. I added them in as well and then added some chickpeas and cottage cheese. I also added some mint for some extra freshness and yummy flavor. And I also added some feta because we know by now, I just love it. Some onion too, as I had some in the fridge, so I threw it in too. Then I thought I should also have some carbs to make my salad more filling, so I cooked some couscous. I love couscous as it only takes 5 minutes to cook. You just cover it with boiling water, season with salt and cover. So a very good staple to have in your pantry if you don't have a lot of time to cook. While I was waiting for my couscous, I added some olive oil and vinegar to my salad and seasoned with salt. After 5 minutes, the couscous was ready, so I just fluffed it up with a fork and served some in my bowl. And yes, I did switch bowls because I ran out of space on the other one. I added all the veggies and salad mixture in the big bowl and gave everything a good mix. A bit of a chaotic dinner, but I often start cooking without a plan, and it usually ends up being something delicious, so I definitely enjoyed this yummy dinner. The mint makes it so nice and fresh. Very good. And then before bed, I also had a chicken mint chocolate as I was really craving it. Another day, and I'm going back to one of my staples, kayana, aka scrambled egg with tomato and feta. Although I realized I was out of eggs, so I just used egg whites today. I cooked some chopped tomatoes and then added my egg whites to the pan and mixed everything around. While the eggs were cooking, I measured 45 grams of feta to add at the end. I also toasted a wholemeal pita to have on the side. Once the eggs were cooked, I served them in my bowl and sprinkled my feta. I then served the pita on the side. I just came back from a baby class, almost 12 o'clock, and I don't have anything ready to eat. My sister-in-law came this morning, it's her birthday, so I think I'm gonna have the last two that are in. I also got myself a coffee. It's decaf, but it's still doing something. I'm just gonna see how many sims these are. I'm gonna eat them either way, but 5 sims for these two. Let's see if they're worth it. Not good. Oh, the coffee. Such a nice snack. Okay, I'm gonna go enjoy. And the sun is out. What more can you ask for? For lunch, I made a burrito / Buddha ball with bits and bobs that I found in the fridge and cupboard. I added some rocket to my bowl and then added some leftover rice from the day before. I topped it with some beans and then added about half an avocado. I also added some red pepper and some chopped onion. Lastly, to make this bowl even more delicious, I added some red Leicester cheese. I think this is probably my favorite English cheese. It's so creamy and flavorful, I just love it. You have to try it if you haven't already. Dressed my bowl with some olive oil and some lime juice and it was ready. It was so delicious. Later on, I was working in a cafe and I honestly couldn't resist a slice of this cheesecake streusel cake. It was so delicious and perfect with a cup of tea. Before dinner, I decided to do a workout. I tried on a core one from Les Mills, but honestly wasn't feeling it, so I switched to Pilates. And yes, Elsie was super excited I was on the floor with her. She kept coming to me and throwing her ball at me, which was so funny. And I don't know if your dog does that. She just throws the ball and then doesn't go for it if I throw it at her. I don't know if it's a golden retriever thing or just a dog thing. Let me know. But yeah, just a quick gentle workout for today as I wasn't feeling that energetic. James was on dinner duty today, so he roasted some peppers, potatoes and onions with paprika and cooked some cod with chorizo. I can't say that word, but you know what I mean. This was such a delicious dinner. I'll definitely make it again in the future. I had a fillet of cod and served it with some coleslaw and topped my potatoes with some homemade garlic aioli. And then I fancied some dessert after dinner, so this is another chaotic recipe where I just started to cook without a plan, so I don't have specific measurements for this one, but it was honestly so yummy. I added some egg whites, flaxseed, cacao, vanilla and a bit of salt to a bowl, and I melted some chocolate with some olive oil and a tiny bit of butter. I also added some honey to the bowl with the egg and mixed everything around. I then thought I'd add some almond flour as I thought it would give it a nice texture, and then some more egg whites and a tiny bit of sugar. Once I combined this mixture well, I added the melted chocolate and folded that in. I added the mixture to a baking dish and baked it for about half an hour, and dessert is ready.
It's good. Very chocolatey.
I served it with a few raspberries as I just love the combo of chocolate and raspberry. It was honestly such a yummy dessert to finish off this yummy day.
Chocolate and raspberry is the best.
Another day and I still don't have any eggs in the house, so I made an egg white omelette. I seasoned with salt and added a slice of Edam cheese as well. While the omelette finished cooking, I toasted a pita and chopped a bit of tomato as I decided to serve it like a little omelette sandwich. I added some mayo to my pita and then added the omelette and tomato. This was such a yummy breakfast, I loved it. I definitely will make it again. For a morning snack, I had an apple and some grapes, and I also had a chocolate biscuit. For lunch, I made some jacket potatoes. I washed a few potatoes and then stuffed them with a fork to make little holes. I put them in the oven to bake for about an hour and a half, or until they're fully cooked. And because I was having a lazy day, to go with my jackets, I had a can of baked beans. I served some leftover coleslaw in my bowl and then added 2 potatoes. I seasoned with salt and then added my baked beans. And of course you can't have beans on jacket potato without cheese on top, so I grated some red Leicester. This is a basic meal, but it's so comforting and it's perfect for a rainy day, which we've been having pretty much every day in the UK these past few weeks. I don't know how it's July, but yeah. I then fancied something sweet again, so I made some white chocolate and Oreo cheesecake things. I started by melting some white chocolate with a bit of coconut oil. I usually melt chocolate in a mug that I put in some boiling water, as I don't like to use the microwave, but you can also use your microwave. For the cheesecake filling, I used some light cream cheese, 0% Greek yogurt and honey. I mixed everything around and then I took 3 Oreos and put them in a little bag. I crushed them using a rolling pin and added them to the cheesecake mixture. Once the chocolate was melted, I added a bit on the bottom of each cup. I then topped it with a cheesecake mixture and then added more chocolate at the top. I definitely didn't calculate this right as I barely had enough chocolate for the top, but it tasted delicious either way. I then topped with some crumbled up Oreo and put them in the freezer to set for about 30 minutes.
It was amazing. You can tell I was impatient and didn't let it set, but
I later on had more of these cheddar and spinach muffins as they were delicious.
I bought more of these.
For dinner, I fancied burger and chips, so I started by cutting a few potatoes and sweet potatoes in chip sizes. I added some olive oil, salt and pepper and stirred them around. I then started on my crispy chicken burgers. To make them, I used panko breadcrumbs and a couple of eggs. I added the breadcrumbs to a shallow bowl and seasoned with salt and pepper. I then cracked 2 eggs in a separate bowl and whisked them well. I dipped the chicken breast in the egg mixture and then added it to the breadcrumbs and mixed it around well to coat on both sides. I then added it in a baking dish lined with baking paper. I continued doing the same until all the chicken breasts were covered in the breadcrumbs. I then sprayed them with some fry light and added them in the oven together with the potatoes to bake at around 200 degrees Celsius until the chicken was cooked through. I used a brioche bun and added some ketchup and mayo. I also added some fresh tomato, but you can also add pickles and lettuce too. I then added my crispy chicken. I served it with loads of potatoes and then I also decided to add the slice of cheese. I love chicken burgers and this homemade version was delicious. perfection. It was so easy to make. It's actually crispy. And I didn't even have to fry it. I'm gonna have 2 burgers in.
For breakfast today, I had some fruit and more of these spinach and cheddar muffins as I had them in the fridge. And I don't know about you, but when I like something, I tend to have it all the time until I get sick of it. For lunch, I got a salad box from a local place. It has a mixture of coleslaws, a couscous salad, a pasta salad, and a kale salad, and it was absolutely delicious. Also had this vegan tart and this quiche on the side, which were also amazing.
How can I have only one? I might eat James's too.
Then it was time to make my name day treats. I started by blending 4 packs of Oreo cookies using my blender. I added the Oreos to a big bowl and saved a couple of tablespoons in a small bowl to sprinkle at the end. I then added 2 packs of cream cheese in the bowl and mixed it well to combine the 2 ingredients. Then I melted some dark chocolate, although you can use whatever chocolate you like. I used a double boiler, or a bain-marie as we say in Greek, although I know it's probably a French term, but yeah. And I let the chocolate melt while I continued making the truffles. I used my hands to mix everything well, and when everything was combined, I started making little balls by rolling a bit of mixture in my hands. When the chocolate was melted, I dipped each truffle in and mixed it around before placing it back on the baking paper. While the chocolate is still melted, I sprinkle the Oreo crumbs on top and then place them in the fridge to cool.
So it's my name day tomorrow, so I made these Oreo truffles to have for tomorrow, but of course I'm gonna have to have one now, you know, just to try it out. I say one, I'll probably have quite a lot. They're amazing, so fudgy. And I think they're the best when the chocolate is not fully hard, so I'm biting and it's almost like melting in my hand. I'm gonna have so many of these.
Then for dinner we decided to get a pizza takeaway, and as always we overorder as we like to have a variety of pizzas and it's nice to have leftovers too.
Truffle fries.
And then Friday morning I'm having some fruit to start with. I love watermelon, so I had a small bowl of this, and then for my main breakfast I chopped some tomatoes and baby bell cheese to have on wholemeal pizza. And by now I'm sure you know the drill. Mayo, rocket, tomato cheese. Simple but delicious. I also packed a bunch of truffles to take to the office, and I might have had 1 or 2 after breakfast as I couldn't resist. For lunch I had gotten an extra salad, so I had the same as yesterday minus the tart and quiche. And then dinner we got a burger, so I chose the chicken one, which was delicious. If you enjoyed this yummy week, make sure you click the like button and I'll see you in the next one.